What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of D486. This is episode 14, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
hmm and so once again, this like last week's episode, this episode is mostly focused on Shin and his group. I mean, we have yet to go back to Lena and the other Spearhead Squadron, which I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't even gone back to yet.
Yeah, it seems like, like you said, they're still focusing on Shin and his group. But at the same time, I kind of like that we're getting more of their side of the story.
hmm
It just seems like there might not be much that is going on with the Spearhead Squadron or anything. Maybe it's just like there's not much to really focus on there. I mean, I'm honestly more interested in what's going on with Shin anyway. There's just, it seems like the only thing that's changed with Malise's side of the story is just that there are different people within the Spearhead Squadron.
hmm
Pretty much, I mean, it seems like she's more or less in the same position that she was before. So I don't know. I mean, it will be interesting when we finally do get back to that side of the story, but it just doesn't seem like there are that many interesting developments as opposed to what's going on with Shin and the others.
hmm Yeah. Well, for this episode, kind of time skips at least a couple times within a few months.
Yeah.
So after the last episode where Shin and his friends have decided to give up their civilian life, they decide to go back. Enlist to what was it, the Federacy of Giada Army or whatever it's called. And of course, we immediately start see them training with their new what was it, their new mechanized units. And of course, we also see one of the other characters that was introduced to Shin in the last episode. His name is Eugene. This time, he made good on his promise on joining the military to provide for his sister. So we see like a scene between Eugene and Shin talking about Eugene's sister, how she's doing, and saying that because they don't have any parents, that she's left in the care of their aunt.
Yeah. This is pretty much near the end of the episode, but so before that happens, so we pretty much get to, I guess, see what Frederica is providing, or honestly, I don't even really know exactly what she's doing aside from giving Shin status updates or just kind of telling him where to go.
I think she's their new handler or something. Well, she said she's their mascot.
Seems like that.
Yeah, she looks like she's operating in the same manner as Melise at times. Using the same comm tactics while they're in battle. But she's, I think she's mostly there for motivational support. I don't know the full extent, but she's just she's with Shin for the majority of this episode, even going with them in the cafeteria.
Yeah. And we get introduced to the I think it was their new commander that shows them new the mechanized units they would be using, as well as this memorial for all the people that I think all the former 86 that died.
Yeah, it's kept. They're all kept in some sort of a bit like a greenhouse bubble or something like that, and we can clearly see all the names of the previous 86 members that were killed in the last Corps. And what we also find out that is Fido is also back as well.
Yeah, I kind of figured Fido would come back somehow. Apparently they preserved Fido's I guess it's
core
data banks, or it's central core. Yeah. Somehow that survived, and they basically rebuilt him. That's you see Frederica kind of just riding around on him, like in the opening, and also just I kind of assume that might be how she gets around the battlefield, maybe. But yeah, so we find that out, and this is kind of the last time in the episode that we see the rest of Shinya's group, because after that it mainly just focuses on Shin, and we're not really sure where everybody else is. I just assume that they are technically in the same squadron, but I guess maybe they're just in different places. And Shin is pretty much, I guess, just stationed with where Eugene is. So yeah, they're together for some parts of the episode, and I was honestly a little bit disappointed with what they ended up doing with Eugene's character. I'll just say, because like we were saying, like they have that conversation where he's talking about his sister, and I took that as a really big death flag. But of course, I did not expect them to do what they did to his character so quickly. I mean, I figured it would happen, but I didn't think it would happen in the same episode. I kind of thought that Eugene might get some more, I don't know, just more character development, but I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about them killing him off so quickly? Because of course we find out he does die.
Yeah,
but it's kind of weird how they handled his death too, because there is like I guess an attack from the Legion, and Shin and everybody else goes to fight them, but we don't see this happen. It just cuts right to after the battle, and Eugene apparently has been, I guess, was pretty much deathly. He's pretty much about to die. Like it's pretty brutal too. Like you see just him lying there, and his like body is completely like it's
completely mutilated. And
yeah,
and once Shin of course finds his body, and Eugene's like just barely alive at this point, and he asks Shin to find the pendant with the picture of his sister, which Shin eventually does, which of course he finds Eugene's arm, which is like holding on to it. So so he finds it, he gives it back to Eugene, and then like he does with with all of his other teammates, he ends up shooting them in the head.
Yeah. I don't know. I did kind of like how the death scene played out, but like I said, I wish Eugene had a bit more screen time before he died, because otherwise his death doesn't really. I mean, while I like how the way the death scene was done, I don't think his death is as impactful as it would have been if his character had been a little bit more developed. Because he died pretty quick. So that's the only thing I didn't really like about it. But I guess we should also mention, like, I guess Shin has. We actually get to see one of the new. I can't even pronounce the names of these new mechs. It's some weird name they gave it. But basically, these new improved spider mechs that I guess are given to the 86. We get to see the Shins in action, and it pretty much seems to maneuver much better than the mechs they were using at the beginning of the first half of the season. Because that makes sense, because the mechs they were using were probably just bottom of the barrel trash. I mean, because considering how the 86 were treated, they were probably just given really crappy mechs. So these definitely seem to be like much better than that, I would assume.
Yeah. I would assume like higher mobility, and of course they mentioned like it uses high frequency blades that can be used in combat too.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like now Shin is pretty much going to. Yeah, I mean, we even get to see he probably more effectively is able to fight the Legion now with the kind of mech he's been given.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that there's really not too much else to say about the episode. Like, that Frederica kind of tries to ask if Shin is okay, but I mean, I kind of wonder if he is okay after having to just deal with seeing his comrades die again, or having to just kill them, put them out of their misery.
I think this is just business. This is business as usual for Shin, because he's experienced this like for years, and he's done. Well, you have to wonder
though if he's bottling everything up though, because he's trying to pretend like he's okay.
I can definitely assume so, but throughout like the entirety of the first core, and of course in this episode, he's just back to I don't know how would I say this, just back to his comfort zone or something. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, because like him and the other members of his squad were not comfortable like living the civilian life that they were granted to them, but like they just didn't feel like they would fit in. So now they're back into the same usual place that they're that they always been. I mean, regardless if they have like um more advanced equipment and more advanced weaponry in their mechs, yeah, they're caught up in the same situation as they are before. Like they interact with other people and eventually they end up dying in the end.
Yeah. And not to mention, Shin really didn't know Eugene for that long anyway. Uh, so I mean, yeah. But I mean, I don't really have too much else to say about this episode. It was, I mean, yeah, it was decent, but I felt like there was also a lot of jumping around in time. Like, there was some not major time skips, but time skips as in like a few months or so. So I wonder if maybe there were some things that were maybe skipped, or either skipped or condensed. I'm kind of wondering also if the scene with them like fighting, fighting against the Legion, in which Eugene gets killed, was also like maybe skipped out on, because the way that happened in the show, it kind of felt like it was either cut or maybe that was intentional.
Yeah.
But it kind of felt like it was something that maybe like could have been cut out.
Yeah, it was deliberately cut like off screen for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have assumed that Eugene's unit got ambushed in some ways, but
that's the thing. We're not exactly sure what happened, or like how he got killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
I mean, it was a decent episode, but it felt more or less the same as like all the other episodes that I've seen in back in the first core. So what I'm also curious about is when we'll eventually get back to Bladalena's storyline. I mean,
I think we should also mention I don't know if you remember the character's name, but that redheaded character that was with Eugene.
Yeah,
it seems like there might be some tension between him and Shin, I guess, because he just really doesn't seem to appreciate how, I guess, Shin handled Eugene's death, or it just seems like he might have some problems with Shin.
It's not just him. I think some other members of the military have some form of animosity toward the other members of the 86. But yeah, well, for this guy's views for Shin in particular, like he holds, I don't know like how he views it, but he kind of holds some amount of animosity towards him in some way. So I don't know what role this guy is going to end up playing in later episodes, whether or not if he will, but I mean, we'll have to see where it goes from here. I mean, right now is like Shin and the others are just back to their usual comfort zone for what it's worth.
Yeah. I just anticipate there's going to be some kind of a conflict between Shin and this person, maybe throughout later in the season. But yeah, so that all being said, I guess until next Saturday, we will see you all next time.